For the post lab for the phase change of water. Now, the main thing that we created from this was we created a graph. And this is the graph that I created after I did my lab. And there's a lot of things that we can determine from this. Okay, the first thing that we see is that is a graph that is temperature versus time. Okay, it's different than our phase diagram, because remember our phase diagram is pressure versus temperature. So it's a little bit different, it looks a little bit different. And we have to label each of the parts. Now, what we can see is that basically we have three slopes. We have a slope down here, a slope in the middle, and a slope at the very top. And what we can see is we have two parts that are basically, they are kind of plateaus. Okay? And what we mean by plateaus is we mean that they're flat parts. So we have two flat parts of our graph, and then our slope, we see them going up right there. Now, the main thing with this is we have to realize is that these flat parts, that this is, the flat part is actually where we have the phase change of the substance, the phase change of the, in this case, it is water. Okay, so on this graph, when we see these plateaus right here, we see two of them. Okay, because we have two phase changes. Okay, from here, if we look at it, if we have a phase change right here, this very bottom part means that it was already a solid. Okay, so it's moving from a solid to a liquid. So at this point right here and at this temperature right there, this would be considered our melting point. Okay, and then we have another slope here. So after it melts, it's in a liquid phase, and it goes all the way up, all the way up, all the way up until it hits this temperature right here, which we see that this temperature has a plateau, and that temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, and this is going to be our boiling point. And then after we see that it hits the boiling point, we see another rise, because this would be our gas phase. So after it boils, it's a gas. So in looking at any phase diagram or phase change diagram like this, the two plateaus will always mean either melting point or boiling point. Another way we can say this is that the amount of energy that it takes to go this amount of time right here, we can call that the heat of fusion, and the amount of energy that we go from here to here, that would be our heat of vaporization. But basically we can tell by this graph as the slopes represent the state of matter. So our state of matters are in the slopes. And then in the plateaus, or these flat parts, that's where we actually have the phase change. Okay, from here going from solid to liquid, and from here going from a liquid to a gas.